Now we're going to talk about weighted mean and see how it applies to frequency distributions. Weighted mean, if some of the data has a stronger bearing on the average than the other data, then the weight of data must be used. Typically, one takes the data and multiplies it by its weight. Add the results and then divide by the total weights. So let's explore how weighted mean is used in several examples. So we're going to go to our workbook, page 164, and we're going to take a look at problem number 9. So for the fall semester, Pearl received the following grades. So she had a 4-credit course. She received an A. 3-credit course, she received a B. 2-credit course, she received a B. 3-credit course, she received a C. For another 3-credit course, she received a B. And then for a 1-credit course, she received an A. And we're going to calculate her GPA. And so we're just going to use our standard scale. And A here is worth 4 points per credit. B is worth 3 points per credit. C would be 2 points per credit. So this would be 3 per credit. And A here would be 4 points per credit. So I'm just going to put those numbers down here. 4, 3, 2, 3, and 4. Now our total number of credits here would be 4 plus 3 is 7, 9, 12, 16. I did that wrong, so let me try that again. I need to add these up over here. I'm adding these here. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So she has a total of 13 credits. So these are the points per credit. And then we're just going to multiply by the number of credits. So here I'm going to take 4 times 4. That's going to give me 16 points. Here I'm going to take 2 times 3 is 6. This is 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. And 1 times 4 is 4. Now we want to total up these points, so just go ahead and add them on your calculator. And that's going to give you 41 points. So we're going to take the total number of points and divide by the weights. So we'll take this 41 divided by 13. And that should give us a pretty ugly looking number. Now typically with GPA they yield rounded to the nearest tenth or a nearest hundred. Let's round this off to the nearest hundred. So this would be approximately 3.15. So the grade point average would be a 3.15. All right, let's turn the page. Now this one should look familiar. We did this example in the previous section. I think it was section 9.1. And what we did is we did a tally and built a frequency distribution. Now, I have to find mean, median, mode, and mid-range of her customers' ratings. I've got a ton of data here. So we got to find a better way to this. So let's go back to our frequency distributions. Remember what our rating was. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to do our frequency. And here we're going to cheat. So let's see if I can find the page number here. And of course I can't lay my hands on it. Ah, here it is on page 157. Exact same data. So this is example 3. We built a frequency distribution. So rather than going through all this, I'm just going to copy these numbers down from page 157. Now here's where a weighted mean can be really beneficial. So what I can do is I can take my rating times frequency. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 14 is 56. And then 5 times 27 is 135. And now I'm going to add these numbers up. Well, if I add those numbers up, do it on your calculator, it gives you 207. That tells me if I add up all of these numbers together, I would get a sum of 207. I have no interest in doing 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 3 blah 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 in my calculator. But if I were to do that for all these numbers here, I would get, my answer would be 207. Now if I add my frequency, this is 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 14 is 20. 20 plus 27, this is 47. So for weighted mean, if I take the number of points divided by the weights, that should give me the average. So that's what we're going to do. And may have to round that. Let's see. Yeah, so what do you want to call that? About 4.4? So our mean here would be 4.4. Now we still have to get the medium, mode, and mid-range. Well, mode's easy. We have 27 fives. Now, 27 is not the mode, it's the number 5. There's 5, 5, 5, 5, 27 of those. So the mode here is 5. In terms of the mid-range, let's think about that for a minute. Well, my lowest rating is 1, my highest rating is 5, so my mid-range is 5 plus 1 divided by 2. That's going to be a 3. So now we have everything except for the medium. Now we need to think about how this is going to work. If I started putting all these numbers back on top here in order, I'd have a 1, no 2's. I would have 3 of these 5's. Sorry, 5 of these 3's. So this is my first number, second number, third number, fourth number, fifth number, sixth number. And then I'm going to have a bunch of 4's. I have 14 of them, so this is going to go from 7 to 20. After that, my 5's start. So my 21st number is a 5, and that's going to go down to my 47th number. If I have 47 numbers, well, half of 47 is 23.5. So my medium has to be the 24th number. Because I'll have 23 numbers above it and 23 numbers below it. Well, my 24th number is somewhere in here. That's going to be the number 5. So our medium then is 5. So again, we really can't write this all out. We need to go through and just kind of think about this, how this list is going to look in order to get the median. So now, this last example shows us how to find the mean for a frequency distribution. And what we basically do is we take each data value, multiply it by its frequency, and add them up. Again, x is the data value, f is the frequency. This is the sum of all products of each data value times its corresponding frequency, and n is the total of the frequencies. That's exactly what we did in problem number 10. And by the way, the formulas we've been developing here are listed on the back side of your yellow formula sheet. It's the one we've been using this section, or these 3 here. So let's take a look at problem number 11 in our workbook. Here were the number of days that students went to a tutoring lab for a particular is given below. Find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range of the number of days students went to the tutoring lab. So looking at this, what we're going to do is we're going to calculate XF, and I'm going to keep track of the cumulative total of students. And you'll see why we're going to do that in just a minute. 0 times 93 is 0. Don't have to worry about 1 times 34. Sorry, 1 times 134 is 134. 2 times 298 is 596. Three times 165 is 495. 4 times 176 is 704. 5 times 129 is 645. And 6 times 55 is 330. So I'm going to go ahead and add these numbers up here. So I'm going to do 0 plus 134 plus 596 plus 495 plus 704 plus 645 plus 330. And that gives me 2904. Okay. Now, I'm also going to keep track of the cumulative number of students. So I'm doing 93 plus 134. So this was 93. Add 134, that's 227. See if I can throw this over here. Then I'm going to add $298. So that's 525. I'm going to add 165. And you'll see why I'm doing this part, this column here in just a minute. It actually helps us to find the median. Plus 176. Plus 129. Plus 55. Okay. And let me put that down here. Alright, so now I have everything to find the mean. We're taking 2904 divided by 1050. So let's do that. And we'll round it off. Let's call it 2.8 days. So that's our mean. Okay, so now, median. I have 1050 numbers. That's an even number, so I have two middle numbers. If I take 1050 divided by 2, that gives me 525. So the 525th number and the 526th number are my two middle numbers. Well, this tells me here that my 525th number is a 2. The very next number comes down here, that's a 3. So notice, if I'm writing this all out, there's 93 of these zeros. And then I pick up a 1. And there's 134. So this lands me at the 227th number for that last one. Then I got my 2's. And there's 298 2's. So this lands me at the 525th number. So the next number is going to be a 3. That's my 526 numbers. So to find my median, I'm going to add 2 and 3 together and divide by 2. For my mode, well, I look which number is the highest. My biggest frequency back up here is 298. That was a 2. So my mode here is 2 days. And I forgot to put the units on the last one. And now we just need to calculate the mid-range. The smallest value is 0. The largest value is 6. So I'm going to add those together and divide by 2. And that's going to give us 3 days. want to show you something. The mode and mid-range are pretty straightforward. It's the mean and the median that are kind of the pain in the butt. But if you remember, when we were doing the credit card problems, we used our calculator to help define the average daily balance. Well, think of the mean as like your average daily balance. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put these two numbers in our calculator under our data. So I'm going to type data. And remember, I have old data here, so I'm going to hit my data again. Type option 4 to clear everything out. And so my first column is going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hit my right arrow, and then just type in my numbers here: 93, 134, 298, 165, 176, 129, and 55. And then I go to my second stat, one variable stats. My data, yeah, that's an L1. Hey, this is my frequency. That's L2, so that's already correct. Calculate. Now take a look at line number 2. That's our mean. Notice they use the notation X bar. We said earlier X bar means mean. Not only that, if you hit your up arrow key, look at line 9. MED, that stands for medium. My medium here is 2.5 days. That matches what I have down here. So with this type of problem, we can put these two columns into our calculator, just like we did for our credit card, and the calculator will calculate the mean and the median. Those are the hardest ones to calculate. The mode and mid-range are pretty straightforward. So you can always use your calculator on these, and we're going to be doing more practice with these problems in a later section.